Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another vehicle that rides along the ground with wheels on their sides. This is the AAC-1 Speeder Tank, and as you can see it packs quite some firepower. We've got rocket pods at the back, we've got autocannons, we've got Gatling guns, and then for a quick look underneath it, these are how the wheels have been set up and allow it to glide across the surface. So pressing F10 and finding this in the spawn menu, the AAC-1 is 1,455 small blocks using the Heavy Infantry Wasteland 2 and Warfare 2 DLC packs. We've got a little bit of information about it on the Steam Workshop page, where we can see this comes from Star Wars Battlefront, the original Battlefront from 2005. You see its weapons there, and it's a 1-to-1 scale. So give this thing a thumbs up, move around towards the very front here, we'll have a quick look around the outside, go through the controls, drive it around for a bit, and that'll be that. So my character can now bugger off just a little bit, there we go, and this is what we get at the very front. We've got some fantastic use of our armoured panels acting as a little bumper guard to make sure you don't damage the main body of the vehicle if you're driving recklessly. We can also see some grease for our beam blocks on the left and right hand side. We've got some white and red blocks that go along the middle, as well as some white blocks to make up the main body of the ship. There's our Gatling guns, there's our autocannons, then right at the very back we can see we've got our rocket pods to blast your enemies with. If we were to move around onto the side, this is what we can see. So there's some white, there's some red, that comes all the way across. If you move up just slightly behind our autocannons, we see some grates for our columns, which make the gun look a lot longer than it actually is. Over to this section we've got ourselves our silver rounded blocks that then continue on to our white and red standard blocks. That come around towards the very back, we've got some heat vents, some barred window blocks, and then some blast or edge blocks for some more decoration. Moving all the way up and looking at the rocket pods, this is what we get when looking behind it, so we can see how each of the rockets been set up. There is no script on here, so they do fire all at the same time, so if you did want them to fire on a pattern like 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, you would have to add in a programmable block, slap it somewhere on there and add in a script. Yes, we can turn this all the way around thanks to this part right here. We can move each individual one up and down thanks to controls in the cockpit. Move around onto the side, that's what that looks like. Around towards the very front we do have cameras so we can precisely aim these, make sure we're not going to waste any ammunition. As I pull away from that and look down at this vehicle, just turn it around just a bit, there we go. We've got some more barred window blocks, some great use for our piston heads. Moving towards front there we can see the back of our autocannons, how the columns are making it look a lot longer. There's some window blocks to peer into your pilot and co-pilot seats, with a barred window block to be able to let you get in and out. Again towards front there, there's an access point for our Gatling guns. There's a bumper guard at the front and how far forward it is. Yes, dropping down and coming underneath it, this is all we can see. So there's not too much to talk about, it's just a bunch of steel blocks. But we do have one hell of a lot of wheels on their side, so we do glide around and act like a proper hovercraft. And there we go, that's a very brief look around the outside of the AAC-1 Speeder Tank. And it does look bloody fantastic for how it's all been set up. So now what I'm going to do is just grab hold of my character, we're going to come around to the rear cockpit. And it does appear to be getting quite foggy around here, so it might start raining. We're going to come up to this, to the barred window block. We can now access that seat right there, and we can bring up the HUD. So for the co-pilot, we can't really do too much, apart from control the rockets at the back there, with the 1 and 2 for our weapon controller. Pressing number 1, that's going to put us into our left rocket, and pressing number 2, that's going to put us into our right rocket. There we go. But we won't be able to move this thing around, we won't be able to fire it, unless the pilot has unlocked it and allows you to actually use it. So we just hop out of here for the moment, coming to the seat in front, because this has got all the controls, including for the rockets at the back. In first person view, this is what we get all the way around, so we can clearly see our autocannons, our Gatling guns. We do have a fantastic view all the way around us. Looking down, that is what we get. We've got artificial horizon, we can see a remote control block, and then there is a programmable block with some more artificial horizons, and we'll just go and check what's going on with that. So each of these programmable blocks on the HUD, there is 3 of them, they are for decorations. So if you did want to use a salvo script like I said, you can always dump these on here if you want to use it like that. Coming out of here, go into third person view, number 1, number 2 is going to be for our Gatling guns and autocannons to fire them both together, there we go, should deal a nice lot of damage. Pressing number 3, that's going to be to unlock our guns at the back. So this is going to allow it to turn all the way around, so if we were to press that, that's now unlocked. If we were to press 4 or 5, which is the same as 1 and 2 in the rear cockpit, we are now going to be able to spin this thing all the way around. There we go. We now lift this one up and down, and we can fire it with a mouse click. And if we want to, we can now just come out of that. Oop, out of the seat. Press number 5. Now we can take over to the other one. Now precisely aim that one. Then once we're done, we can press number 3 again. That'll lock it in place, and we can safely drive around without just wobbling and potentially damaging itself. Number 6 is for the weapon controller block, but it's currently unknown. And then number 7 is going to be for our atmospheric thrusters to help boost us around. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to fly around, or even hover around on the surface here, and see how well this handles. So moving forwards, this is what we get. When I say it behaves very much like a hovercraft, that is how it actually feels. We will be maxing out the power, but that does add to the controls of this. We have to turn around. We sort of glide around onto the surface. We do max out the power, but that does allow us to slide around and not stop instantly. Here we go once again. Now go up to maximum speed. This is on a custom Earth-like planet, so I don't have high hopes of being able to survive going on the ground here without some random rock appearing. We're going up to about 50-60 meters per second, and here we go. Here's a random rock. Hopefully we can control this. Yes, we can. We do have a gyroscope. I have a feeling that might be the end of this. And it seems like we did sort of survive, but there's a rock over there, and that is going to be the end of this. Might be able to pull it away. We can. It looks like we just damaged part of the front. That was not my intention when driving this thing around. I was hoping to get up to 100 meters per second to see how it handled. So here we go one more time. I'm now driving along. Weapon core is screaming at me because it is not set up for this ship. I forgot to disable that in this world. Here we go, now going to drive along here. It's going to be quite bumpy. Like I said, this is a custom randomly generated Earth-like planet. So it's going to get very, very wonky. And I believe I hit some kind of invisible block. It does appear to be in, well, relatively good shape. I'm going to try that one more time, and away we go. So driving around here is very smooth on a flat surface. It does seem to struggle quite a lot for any kind of lumps and bumps, but that is par for the course for any kind of vehicle that's very low to the ground. We are making quite a few holes in the ground, not sure why that's going on. It might be just a bug with the terrain. But anyway, as for that, as for the actual controls, as for driving it around, as for the looks, that's pretty much it for what the AAC-1 Speeder has to offer. It's a lovely little recreation of the speeder tank from Star Wars Battlefront. There will be a link to it in the description below if you do wish to download and play around with it yourself. Highly recommend you do. And I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.